Okay. Well, good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to the September 2024 TDX meeting. Let me start an agenda here. Hold on. Come on. Here we go. Okay. Sharing application. There we go. Here we go. Just a few small items before we get into the program. Sorry, I'm a little hoarse today. As of today, we have 47 active members, and one of our newest members is here. That's Brian Biani, who lives in Navasota. Our treasury's got about $14,500 in it, and looking for places to spend that. So if you have any hot suggestions as to where we should give some the expedition support, please let me know, and let me know why you think they deserve it. Any comments on that?
Yeah, we do have one on the table from Rick, K5TIA, that you could collect input on, and that's for 3D2Y, and I believe it's Rotuma. And the one selling point I read about that was it was going to involve a number of young operators.
Okay.
They'll also have remote rib set up like they had and have had in several recent DXpeditions.
Yeah, the Jarvis
a lot of the youngsters will be using the rib remotely, but I think there may also be one or two with them.
Mm-hmm. The Jarvis in the expedition using rib, what's it called, the rib application works well.
Radio in a box.
Radio in a box. That's it. Red. Yeah. Any other comments?
I hope these kids get to actually go on the DXpedition. Ribbing is fine, but you're operating remotely. There's nothing like going on a DXpedition to get your feet wet in that.
Sure. Everyone will do at least once. Okay, well, no other comments. Robbie, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, take it away.
So you gotta let me share.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, this is pretty simple. So what I'm going to do is talk briefly about the results of 2023, and then a few comments about potential goals for 2024, and then some ideas mainly to generate conversation, to stimulate people maybe doing things differently than they have done in the past, but just some points. So this is meant to be a pretty interactive discussion. So the big thing for me has always been the club aggregate competition. And here are the results from the report prepared by NO5W by Chuck. The Central Texas Club won by a rather substantial margin. We were second, but we did do pretty well with respect to the third place participant. So hopefully, in 2024, this will continue. Here's some details of the 2023 effort. This is the the Central Texas Club. They had N5RZ with 800,000 points, N5TJ with 400,000. They had a mobile down here with 692,000. So with these guys being as active as they are, they're a tough group to beat. It is also interesting that we had some TDXS members, at least one, who is also a member of the Central Texas Club, who opted to push his score to the Central Texas Club.
Boo
I
hiss.
think I say again.
Boo hiss.
Yes, I think I have convinced him to do otherwise, but
Traitor.
only time will tell.
I hear his guy wires on his tower are getting to be a little shaky.
That could be. Anyway, so here's our effort, the TDXS Society. So we had, I believe we had 17 total participants. We had some pretty decent scores. So hopefully in 2024, since we have 47 active members, it would really be great if we could have 25 or 30 participants. But I know everybody has varying calls for their time, but if you can, spend some time in the contest. No matter how small, it really makes a difference.
Question?
Yes.
Yeah, so I live out of state. I can't be a TDXS aggregate score for an ARRL or a CQ contest. Can I join TDXS and submit a score from North Carolina?
Not for the club competition, but by
Okay.
working each of us, you can certainly help the effort.
No, I that I'm going to do. But I was just curious. It occurred to me there might be a loophole there. Thanks a lot.
So we had 18 participants, and if I just combed the results quickly, we actually had 2 winners. I won the low power CW a fixed station, a Texas in Texas group, and then we had K5Y, which is a group headed up by KJ5Y that won the Texas the multi-op high power group. So that was pretty good. So
I haven't heard anything about him participating this year,
no, I have not either. But
he's not keeping his remotes. They was all done via remote.
Yeah,
I'm sure, and he's not keeping his remotes very well maintained. So
okay.
Yeah, Roby, this is Jim. I also participated in the multi-op operation with K5IZO. So there were 19 members that participated, and also Ben in E5B. Didn't he take first place in the low power SSB only? He's a member.
Okay. If he did, I missed that. Like I said, I combed this quickly. And if I did, I apologize, but hopefully you're correct.
Yeah. He was always my big competition whenever I operated from Fayette County. We've been friends for many, many years, but it's a rivalry that I appreciate because it really pushes me to do well. Because back in what was it, 21, I got the low power one. So and if I had gotten my tower all fixed up instead of just up, I would be back up there, but I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm going to do it from home this year.
Hot dog. Thanks for the participation.
Yeah.
So here's our certificate for the second place club aggregate. Keith, I appreciate all the work you do there with the certificates and the plaques and all that stuff. That's really good stuff. So that's all I was going to talk about as far as the 2023 effort. Just give some context of where we're starting from, and hopefully what our targets will be for 2024.
Can I make a comment before you go on?
Certainly.
Yeah, this is Tuna. So it took 9 months for the final reports from the 2023 to come out. You can make a baby in 9 months. I don't understand why it took 9 months. And the results that finally got released, as far as I could tell, were simply somebody finally gave up and released the preliminary scores as the final scores. You know, when that comes out over the TDXS logo as being the sponsors, that doesn't look very good. I think you guys need to figure out some way to see to it that those results come out in less than the time it takes to gestate a human.
All we need is somebody to do it.
Well, somebody, you know, I'm just telling you what the problem is. I'm not telling you how to fix it.
Well, we've heard a lot about problems, but Chuck and I are both 82 years old and we're done.
Well, I think that's a good point. I'm just telling you the way it looks, you know, looks from the outside. That's all.
I understand, and I'm the one that released the scores, preliminaries, and that urged Chuck to go ahead and finish the job. But you know, it takes work, and we're done.
Keith, how many logs did you have submitted?
50 maybe.
Maybe I asked the wrong person. How many logs were submitted? Was that in 5G? You said that?
This is the last year for me and Chuck. We're both retiring.
Okay, how many logs were submitted? Approximately. About how many logs were submitted?
To the nearest 100.
Oh, I
How
started.
many logs were submitted to the nearest 100?
I started off. It's on the website. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, I started in 2012, and so I've been running the thing. This will be my 14th year, and or 12th year. And Chuck had it before that, but you know he still does all the log processing, and we just got to where we have other priorities.
I sure appreciate what you've been doing.
Yeah, we really do.
Well, actually, I enjoy doing it, but you know, there's a limit of how much a guy can do. I have 10 horses to take care of, and you know, doing the Texas so far, I have to take time away from that, and it's just not working out.
Okay, so that gives us a topic to talk about, I guess, because the Texas QSO party for 2024 is here, but maybe starting next week, we're going to have to figure out how to get that, how to manage the Texas QSO party and how to get the logs processed and all that sort of stuff for the ones that start coming in. So we got
I talked Chuck into doing it for 2024. They agreed that would be the last year.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thanks. I looked at the website. There were 388 entries. That's 388 people who turned in a log. I'm sure there were a lot more call signs involved in the competition.
Yep, I'm sure there were. So for 2024, this is kind of what I was thinking about. You know, we always want to increase the participation, both in Texas and out of Texas stations. Maximize the number of counties on the air. If there's, you know, if you've got the chance to go to work portable or mobile from a county where that's not represented, it would be really great to do so. Helps everybody score. And, you know, I guess there was at least one time, whenever all 254 counties were on the air, or was it 255 with the Armadillo County, whatever it was.
No, it was 254. It was 254.
Okay, so and I don't know if that's ever happened since. But taking advantage of
TDXS.
mobile stations is really, can add to your score significantly. And then there's always the issue of looking for the number of QSOs and versus multipliers. And with the mobile stations in multiple counties, you can get significant adder to your score. Also, it needs to be a lot of fun or we won't do it. So that was an issue for me. So this is a web page, and I'll go live here in just a second. But this is the routes portion of the web page. And as you see on this, it gives you a list of the stations that are going to be active in each county and tells you whether they're going to be on Saturday or Sunday or both. And in a minute, let's go to the next page and see if I can do this. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
You should see the web page.
It popped up on a different screen than one you're sharing.
Oh, that's
Okay.
right.
All right, I'll stop that share. I'll share again. How about now?
Loading.
Here you're live.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so so for instance, here are the fixed stations that are arranged by mode. You can see which ones will be mixed, which ones will be on sideband, which ones will be on CW, and what county they will be in. If you go, here are the mobile stations, and if you look at these, pick one of these mobiles, this is Keith's mobile. Can you see the county map?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so this is the route that Keith is planning to take. So this gives you an idea of the
Yeah.
counties that he will be involved in or be passing through during the contest. So at least in theoretically, you could work him in a number of these. So this is a really good tool. If people didn't know about it, a really good tool to help you maximize the number of counties that you work.
That's
The
about
sheriff in
1,000
Waco is
miles.
still looking for you, Keith.
Pardon?
The sheriff in Waco is still looking for you.
You know, it's a funny thing, but our route did not take us through that county, so that's just the way it turned out. That's a 1,000-mile trip.
Wow. That's cool. That's great. Anyway, it's the same for the other mobiles, and I've tried to encourage over the email list people to pass the information on to Chuck so that so it can be posted here, and so more of it will be known. And let's look at this one. This is Saturday. This is the counties that will be active on Saturday. So I'm just trying to illustrate what a valuable resource this web page is for participants both in and out of state. Try to know who's available to work. Okay. Go back and share the.
Roby.
Sir. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's a good display. I like that.
Thank you. So you should see my QSO party slide again. That is the link at the top to the page that I just showed you. And my plea is to use this announced activity in your own experience to build yourself a
Can't
band
see.
plan.
There's no slide up.
Okay,
Not
hang
sharing.
Hang on.
You're not sharing.
Yeah. How about now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the
Now we're
PowerPoint
looking
now.
at your
Okay,
PowerPoint
let's
design
get to the
slide.
right place again.
Okay.
So you can see the tactics slide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So using this announced activity and your own experience, you know what about propagation on bands, and will help you build a band plan, because if you have a plan, you'll do better than if you don't have a plan. And for me, the money bands have always been 20 and 40. And looking at the time of day is pretty significant. And the contest does not go all night. So the contest runs till, what is it, 9 in the evening? So you can kind of,
9 to 9 to 9 to 3.
so you can kind
9 to 9
of
to 9 to 3.
allocate your time as to where there's likely to be propagation and when people are likely to be active. And that's one of the unique things about this QSO party. And it's done that way to help mobiles. So that's good.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, could I ask K5GN to comment about the band, from a standpoint of a Texas station? Where do you think they should start out, and how long should they spend, and or just stay on 20 and 40 only? Or Dave, how should this be done from Texas?
I don't have much experience with this particular contest, or at least not in a while. I'm planning to be on all Saturday. So my thinking is you're definitely starting on 20. 15 meters, you might CQ over there. On sideband, maybe more than CW, I don't know, but you might spend some time there, but the money band during the day is going to be 20 and well into the evening. But you can switch to 40 late afternoon, say 4 o'clock or so, go back and forth. We used to say that you make the most cues when you bounce. So bouncing between 20 and 40 is a really good idea in the afternoon later. If you don't get many answers on 40, you just go right back to 20. That's how I would play it. There probably won't be very many people on 80, but there might. It's Pig Farmer City, so who knows?
And Dave, another question. As far as the time spent CQing as opposed to search and pouncing, any thoughts both if somebody's a mobile and if somebody's not? Since the mobiles are going from county to county, I assume that CQing is the name of the game for them, right?
Yeah, they get a nice pileup every time they get to a new county, right? So
Yep.
you definitely want to CQ when you get to a new county. And then if it gets slow enough, you want to go find the other mobiles, right? And get your multiplier up. Typically, the mobiles will do better on CW. I think K0YY is going to be CW only as a mobile. I think I read that yesterday. So, but there's a lot of cues to be made on phone if you're strong. If you're not strong, you're searching and pouncing no matter what, right?
So in the Texas QSO party, you get multipliers for working other counties as a Texas operator.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's right. Yeah.
That is correct.
And that's a major difference from the Georgia QSO party, where you only get one multiplier for the state. And when I'm running, I usually end up getting a bunch of counties calling me because I'm using a 1x1 that is part of a special challenge. But they don't help me out other than the QSO count. So that's a good advantage for Texas to work different counties.
Another question, please.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for K5GN again, Dave. What do you think? Would you think it would be a good idea if a mobile can establish a frequency to use, if they go off and search and pounce? Do you think it's a good idea for them to, for instance, always come back to 14045.000 or something, so that anybody who's looking for them knows exactly what frequency to go to? Should they try to come back to the same spot?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to have a pad of paper next to the keyboard with the mobile call sign and the typical frequency.
Me too.
Yeah, and that's the way it's been for many years. I've done the same thing when I worked mixed a couple of years ago, that was invaluable. Having a list of where to look for them. I think I worked W5, what was it, CT, Mr. Jones. I think I worked him virtually in every county he went to, and he stayed on the same frequency. So that would be the huge advantage.
So
And
Scott,
last
there's one
last
other
question.
comment
ahead.
about counties. If you get bonus points if you work a station in a certain number of counties, like I think it's 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
fine.
there's a great advantage to working in the Texas QSO party of working the same station in multiple counties, if that's, when that's possible.
Another question?
Go ahead.
Since there are going to be four other QSO parties going on this weekend, any thoughts about whether it's best to try to stay really high? I mean, if anybody's going to come out and look for you, I assume they're going to go up as high as it takes to find you, rather than trying to get down on 14.032 and thrash with the Iowa and everybody else. Dave, any thoughts on whether we ought to try to go high?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Typically, state QSO parties are in the upper part of the band below the FT8. And typically the mobiles will be, from 40 to 50.
Yeah.
So I would say try not to clobber a mobile. If you're doing that, probably you want to be above 50 or close to 40 on the 30 side. I'm going to see how it goes.
Okay. So another thing that was brought up was about working these other QSO parties simultaneously. So if you work a station and you exchange the required amount of the required information, it's legitimate queue for you and for him. So sometimes you work a station, say in Iowa, I'll work him for Texas and turn right down again and work him for Iowa. I'm not working the Iowa contest, but I don't, it doesn't really matter to me as long as I got my Texas QSO party contact. But in
You're going to try him as a
MM,
dupe. He's going to see you as a dupe, isn't he?
no.
Okay.
I don't care. That's his problem, not my problem.
All right.
Yeah.
But now N1MM has got a contest swap function. So
Works
you can
great,
have
too.
multiple contests running essentially at the same time. So you can work a station in Iowa and you can turn around and you can work the various contests. So I know there's the point that was just brought up about dupes is an issue. I really hadn't thought a whole lot about it, but that's what I have done in the past. And from what I have, my experience tells me that the relative number of participants in these other contests is fairly low compared to the Texas one. So I tried to make the Texas contacts first and kind of let those and fill in with those other guys whenever it's possible.
I think our biggest competition is going to be the Washington State Salmon Run. They've always been very, very active. When IZO and I were working last year, I think probably maybe 10% of all of our contacts were with the state of Washington. So they are very active.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I think they don't start until a couple hours after Texas does.
Yeah, that's it. That's absolutely right.
pretty significant overlap though.
But
So
they're
what
very happy to have a log full of Texas stations.
So what I'm planning to do is I'm not worried about keeping a log for the other I'm not worried about it. Some of you will wish to do it, but I'm not planning on worrying about it, but I am going to include my state in my exchange. So I'm going to say AUST TX along with the signal report so that people are encouraged to work me if they're in another QSO party and they want to send me Silver Bow, Montana. I can get them to call me. You follow?
Yep, good idea.
And I don't think we'll be in that much of a hurry to to need to have a shorter exchange.
That's
But,
the
I see
reason
that-
for this.
I see that N5RZ made 1,200 QSOs last year, so there's QSOs to be made.
Absolutely. So the
Do
other
you know
thing
if any
is,
of those QSO parties that are competing with you want your name? Because that always slows things down too.
a
Most
good
of them have gone
question.
away from it.
I think
I don't
most of,
think so.
yeah, I think most of them are gonna be, we want them to copy our county, and most of the other state QSO parties, especially on this weekend, I think it's just a matter of exchanging the county that they're in, rather than name.
So if, for those of you guys who may not have tried the N1MM swap contests thing, you can program F12, for instance, to do that. And the code is swap contests. And if you put a number 4 after it, swap contest 4 in those uppercase brackets, it will toggle between the 4 different contests. Swap contests alone, just that phrase, that toggles between the one you're currently running and the one you just had running back and forth. But if you put in 4, it'll go it'll go through all 4 of them.
That's
Sequentially,
slick.
Yeah, that's correct. Pretty neat
So
feature.
so to get the one that's third down the list, you have to go F12 3 times.
Yeah.
I think that's correct. It's interesting that when N1MM decided to, several people asked about this to him, me included, and he basically came back originally back in the beginning of June and said, who the hell would want that? And then he did the first one, which was swap contests. And everybody came out of the woodwork and says, wow, this is great. And about a month later, he said, okay, here's swap contest 4.
That's funny.
So the next thing is, we got the DX cluster and spotting. So if you work a mobile in the county, spot him, spot your friends, spot other Texas stations, spot people so that you can go so that others can find them.
Especially spot other TDXS members.
Mhm.
And of course, everyone, you should know if you use N1MM that you can set it so that if you work somebody, if you're doing search and pounds and you work someone who's not already spotted, you can set it to automatically spot somebody. So, an FYI.
Is self-spotting allowed in the Texas QSO party?
Yes. I think so.
Is it? Is there a?
Keith? Keith, is it?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Is self-spotting allowed in the Texas QSO party?
Yes.
So there's the
It's not
official
very-
ruling.
I think about it,
There,
it doesn't make a lot of
there's another feature in N1MM, and I don't know if it's enabled for this contest, that will automatically spot yourself every 10 minutes. But I don't know. They have to actually enable that. I think it's enabled for ARRL contests, but I don't know about other contests.
Yeah, I think the contesting administration has to request that of the N1MM developers to activate it.
Mm-hmm.
So there are hotkeys or quick click buttons in the Telnet window. And I actually created a hotkey that uses the bracketed information so that it would send DX, KB4 KBS, bracket frequency, round, I think is the word that they variably had to use, space, frequency, county, in brackets or whatever. And it would actually, just hitting that one button would send the DX command to the Telnet. If
That's
y'all are
cool.
interested, I'll dig that out and send it to the reflector.
I'm sure.
Yeah, do that. That's a good idea.
That would be great.
Absolutely.
So I just checked the other 3 QSO parties. I guess it's the Salmon Run, New Hampshire and Iowa. Maybe there's a fourth one. How many?
New Jersey.
New Jersey, yeah, that's the other one. They're all 5-9 state and 5-9 county if they're in New Jersey or if they're in, wherever.
Right.
So it's very simple.
Okay,
And you don't have to work them twice to log them twice.
That's right.
You just switch logs to enter the necessary information for their QSO party and you're good.
Yep.
Because you made the contact and you exchanged all the information.
You can also send a combined Cabrillo log, and we'll process the one with the multiple QSO parties. We'll pull out just the TXQP stuff.
okay. That's good.
Well, I
That's
think
good,
if you
Keith.
do the swap contest, it'll generate multiple Cabrillo files for each
I
one for each
yeah,
contest.
I think you're right, but we will accept the combined files.
Good to know.
Okay. So any other spotting methods? Any other, we got we have the DX opportunity, which is relatively small group of people, but things
Well-
show up there that are pretty neat.
One thing that also you may want to be aware of is if you're running and you move more than 1 KC, you can tell I'm old. I think that the skimmers will automatically pick you up also as soon as you move. So
You mean the skimmers?
sorry,
The skimmers.
skimmers, yeah.
Yeah, he's
What
talking
I
about
said.
CW skimmer.
Right.
And
You said-
that's another thing. A lot of people using the cluster, using the internet to get those spots, tell their system to ignore the skimmer. And I think that's foolish. That's foolish because within about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, the skimmer knows when a station has showed up, no matter what.
Quicker than that.
Well, yeah, but it may not come through to your screen that fast, but it shows up very quickly. And you'll miss a lot of people if you're relying on others to manually spot.
Yeah. But I can tell you from experience that I've been in contests where in N1MM there's a window where you can see if you've been spotted in the info window or one of the windows.
Mhm.
And I can start calling CQ, and before I'm finished calling CQ, I'm already been spotted by a dozen skimmers. That's how fast they are.
Some of them wait to hear you twice, depending on how they've got their software set up. They do that to try to reduce the number of bad call signs that they report. I get
Good.
reported by some stations when I say CQ test K5GN. No matter how much space I put between test and K5GN, I still get spotted as TK5GN, which is a rare multiplier for a lot of people.
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
PSK, for instance, requires DE space K5GN space K5GN. It requires that to be seen. On digital, it'll pick FT8 or something. It'll pick up the call, but on CW, that's why they need both the call twice.
Right.
And the
So-
DE also? Because I never use DE.
Yeah, for PSK, maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
I
never-
rarely use DE.
That's a waste of time.
Well, not if it helps the skimmers get you right. Maybe. The dupes are no fun. The bogus callers are no fun. That's, it's terrible. CQ Worldwide, you're CQing and somebody spots you as TK5GN and you get all these W's calling.
I'll bet.
So do we have, at least I thought in the past, there was some method of tracking mobiles? You could actually see what county they're in. Am I dreaming about that, or is that still available?
that's what that NO5W thing does. The KO5, whatever it's called, Chuck.
Okay. Well, I remember seeing it somewhere, but it's something I have never used.
Yeah, so one thing I was reading about the way you set that thing up, it's really cool. You know, it's linked to GPS, and it doesn't depend upon the operator to decide what county he's in. The GPS tells him automatically identifies what county is. GN and I did the Armadillo run years ago. One of the biggest problems was to figure out when the hell and how we knew we'd crossed into a new county.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
All right.
right. Not every road had that,
Had a sign?
had a sign or that, what we used to have, that granite post or concrete post at the county line. But you could usually tell when the pavement changed
Yeah,
from one maintenance crew to another.
yeah.
The other one that was funny about that was KB5FU, who was a big county hunter, told us this trick. Galen used to be in the club. He said one way you can tell is that there was usually right at the county line, there'd be a big dump truck full of dirt used to fill potholes. So if you drive along on the road and you know it's coming along someplace and you don't see the sign, look for the whole dump truck of dirt.
Right.
Okay. So we already talked briefly about bonus points. If you work work a station in multiple counties, these bonuses, if you work several stations like that, they add up to your final score. It's worth a lot of contacts. So
Hey.
other ideas, things we hadn't talked about?
I was looking at those rules for that. Is that, you get 500 per mobile? That's what it reads to me. For each Texas mobile you work in 5 counties, you get 500 points.
Right.
So
And-
not just
and,
one of them, but as many of them as you can find.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
And yeah, and look at it this way. You 1 or 2 extra minutes over a 3-hour period to work somebody 5 times, and then they move to 5 more counties, you do them again. So those 500 points, just think how long it took to get the point for the county and the multiplier, and then look at that 500 extra points. It's well worth the time.
You know,
So
it might
if
be
you-
worthwhile to program memories into your radio when you find a mobile station on a specific frequency.
Yeah.
Sure. So if you want to know the impact of the mobiles of these bonus points, take a look at the detailed summary in Chuck's report, and it shows in the final score, it shows the bonus points that were allocated to a station. Now it gives you some idea of the impact that it can have on your total score. All right, so for me, try to wind this thing down. I always offer this and never get taken up on it, but I always keep offering it. Does anybody need help with software or equipment? If you run, and I always hope that there'll be some relatively new guys involved in these meetings, and they seldom are there. But if somebody's not familiar with a piece of software, maybe there's something we can help them with that will get them, we'll get them going, make a big difference. Or if they got a hardware problem, maybe we can help them solve that. We talked about the contest swap feature. One other thing for me is plaque sponsorship at the end. The top of each category can get a plaque. I don't think the TDXS sponsored, as a club, sponsored any plaques this year. Do Keith?
No, to me, it's a new deal this year, just like, and before we had people that did it every year or clubs that did it every year. But this year I just decided to just put it out for anybody. And it worked pretty good. All of them got sponsors.
Yep, they did. Anyway, it's pretty cool. That's kind of something to think about in the future here. And for me, finally, really want to thank Keith for his leadership all these years of the Texas QSO party.
Here, 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 here.
He's the guy that's kind of made it go. And Chuck, he's kind of been the heavy lifter in the background doing all the log processing and all that stuff, which I think is a big job. And I don't know how it will be done without his assistance in the future, but that's I think these guys have really done a great job over a long period of time.
Yeah, and he hasn't shared that information very
Thank
much.
you.
I've automated all of my stuff, and so if somebody want to take it over, they just have to know Microsoft Access and Excel. That's how I got it all under Excel and Access. That's basically the awards.
Okay. Well, that's my nickel's worth.
I think that's all we got here. Any last
Well,
minute
we got
comments?
about $1 worth.
Yeah, I have some. Number one, send me some articles for the bullshit. Please. Something. I know Tuna's fixing to send me something. And
Yeah, I'm putting together an article about this antennas that I'm throwing together.
yeah, I mean, it'd just be a little bit more interesting rather than, read about my drama, right? So, I can publish someone else's drama. Come on.
Well, that's always the case. It's good. It's good if you can share.
I don't care what you send me, bios, pictures of QSL cards, antennas. I don't care if it's true or false. Just send me something.
Oh, well, you didn't say that. Oh, darn. I didn't know you'd accept stuff that was complete bullcrap.
I don't give a crap what it is.
Just
It is the bullshit.
The name of the document makes it wide open.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Maybe put a little motto, don't necessarily believe everything you read or something. I don't know. Add that to the bullshit.
Get some old larceny rap articles.
Yeah, something. I don't care. So one other thing I'd like to say is welcome to Brian. You're a new member, right?
Newish since right before field day, I think.
In June.
Okay.
Well, welcome.
Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us about yourself.
Hey, my name is Brian. I have been licensed for probably about 3 years. Probably because I was bored and then started picking up CW for the same reason. So yeah, I'm the chief of EMS in Tomball. So I do that during the day and then play radio at night until I'm too tired to stay awake anymore. So that's pretty much it.
All right.
Welcome.
Yeah, glad to have you.
Brian, what bands are you on? What modes? What are you up to?
So most recently I've been almost exclusively CW. I joined the Straight Key Century Club a while back and never did anything with it. So now I'm chasing awards on that end. So I've moved my way through a Straight Key, Sideswiper. I got a bug that came in today. So I'm just
A bug.
He's going to be buggy.
I haven't used a bug in so many years, but it was fun. I used it for about a year.
Brian, how did you get your CW up to speed?
Just doing it. So it's so I was taking a cruise to Bermuda earlier this year, and we were not allowed to bring radios on the ship. And I appreciate a good challenge. So I got a true SDX that didn't really look like a radio, and I packed it with some of my other stuff and just spread out a wire antenna and a 3D printed key in different bags and managed to get it into the country. But before that, I did not really know CW. I mean, I could send with a cheat sheet, but couldn't really copy. So in about 6 weeks of kind of just self-taught, I was verbalizing license plates during the commute for 6 weeks.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's great.
Brian,
that's a great way to do it, Brian.
Brian, just so you know, Dave here, you're talking to is probably in the top 10 CW operators in the United States.
Why, thank you very much.
And
I'm not even
way up there
close.
in the world too.
Yeah, I was
So-
gonna say in the world.
Oh, no.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm
just
way
say
down
thank
there, but
you. Hey, Dave, just say thank you.
Right,
Thank you.
so if you need
Brian?
any hints, ask
Yeah.
Dave.
Hey, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah, and sure, this is Tuna, K2TNO. Look, if you're beginning to get interested in CW and you're gonna be in this bunch, you're probably gonna sooner or later be interested in contesting. There is a contest that runs every week called the slow speed test. It's maximum of, I think it's 20 words a minute or 15 or something like that. And it's a good way to get your feet wet in that sort of stuff if you're interested. And any of the guys on here can help you figure out how to get that fired up. And the only thing I would suggest is that you seriously consider going directly to an iambic keyer and not mess around with a bug, because eventually you're going to want to go to a keyer pedal anyway.
Yeah, but
I've
you
got
could
that
start,
hooked up too, so I'm just bouncing back and forth. I just have to remember which one I'm on.
right. Yeah, that works
Brian,
works on your
the-
dexterity to use a bug. That's great.
yeah. Brian, if you do want to do that the slow speed contest, and I think it's Monday and Friday. And if you want to use N1MM, there's a user defined contest, a UDC, that you'll have to look up and download that UDC, put it into the UDC folder, and then you can call it up as in N1MM.
Brian,
Yeah.
the first time you try to do that, it's a little confusing exactly what the Sam Hill you're trying to do.
Yeah,
And so what I would strongly suggest that you do is to get on with one of the guys locally and get them to walk you through how you find that and install it and get into the right
yeah,
directory, because it's once you do it, once you know what you're trying to do, it's easy. But until you do it a couple times, it's a little bit like sex. You learn more in the first 5 minutes of doing than you do in all the books you read.
Yeah, well, I think Alan just volunteered to help you.
yeah. I'll be happy to help. And
Well,
then later,
Brian,
and then later, once you get a little bit better, then they have the CWT, which is on Wednesdays, and there's like 4 different CWTs during the day, and it's a little bit higher speed.
A lot higher.
A little bit higher.
They'll run 100 or 100 to 120 contacts in 60 minutes.
More than that. That's the losers.
Yeah, that's right. That's you're way down. I think my best was 155.
Brian,
I'll bet you could do better than
I
that.
have a question, Brian. I have a
Sure.
question for Brian. Are you gonna say you're in Tomball?
I live in Navasota, but I work in Tomball.
Oh, my.
Oh, okay. Because I'm in Tomball and I do the SST, MSC, and CWT, all 3 every week.
Keep an eye out or an
So if
ear
you
out
wanted to
anyway.
come by-
Hey,
if you
Brian, you ought
wanted
to
to
try
come
to, yeah, you ought to try to nip over to Keith's and see it while he's doing it, just to see what in the world it's all about. I'd suggest you follow up on him
Yeah.
with that.
Sure.
Yeah, and I use one MM exclusively. I'm kind of like Alan. What else?
I don't know. Dave's got a preference, a different preference, but that's a good
So-
program too.
Well, that's true. I
So-
use DXlog now, but
Oh, that's another one. I have never used that one.
guys, it's almost just exactly like WinTest,
Mhm.
but it's being maintained and improved now, so it's a little bit better than WinTest.
Hmm.
But
It's
I'm
got a
using
huge
using it for the 2-band SIQ. So
Quick
Uh,
DX question.
go ahead.
Anybody know 6 Oscars on yet?
Haven't heard.
I have heard nothing other than they had issues getting their equipment in the country. That's the last update I saw was on the 13th.
Yeah, I heard they got as far as Rome. They all gathered together in Rome getting ready to fly out, but I didn't know what happened to the gear.
They're already
Back-
they're in country. They're just
Yeah.
trying to get it through. Their stuff got impounded at customs, as which they expected. And
Yep.
now they're trying to get the official okay.
They're asking for more donations probably for that.
I suppose a few euros will change hands.
Mhm.
That's unfortunate.
It's happened to me a few times.
Yeah, so here's two QSL cards that are pretty cool.
Wow.
So it's nice to get real cards. You hold them in your hand.
I love them.
Guys, I gotta get up at 3 o'clock Central Time, so I'm gonna say goodnight.
What, for a meteor scatter or something?
I'm still a working man.
What's
Good
that?
night.
All right.
Right. Nice chat with you, Scott. See who wins the Wick Fowler's 2-alarm chili box.
All righty, we'll see y'all on the air on the weekend.
Right.
Good. That's a pretty good meeting, gang. Glad to see you all.
Yeah, I'm sorry there weren't more people here, though. It's a shame to get, even right before the QSO party. I was hoping more of the guys who were going to be going Mobile would be on.
Getting their beauty sleep, I guess.
In here on the camera, but he wouldn't quite join us. But anyway, greetings from Pecos County. I might actually even try to get on this weekend.
That'd be great, Ron. You're the only guy in Pecos County, so that would be great.
Well, whenever Dad's out here running my station.
All right.
It's good to see you.
Dave, are you going to be on from your house or you're out at Dennis's?
I'll be out at Dennis's at sunrise doing the antenna work, and I'll get on at 9 o'clock. May take a few breaks in the middle.
Good.
I discovered a bad feed line last week, and to change it out, I had to take the dadgum antenna off the tower and pull the feed point into the tower, which just about killed me yesterday.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's a 48-foot boom, and the feed point is
Wow.
about 8 feet in. So I had to move it quite a bit, and it was a lot of work. So the antenna is not quite put back together. I got to put an element back on, and the feed line is attached, but the feed line from there down to the relay box is also missing.
What had happened to the feed line?
It got wet. Somehow my waterproofing at the junction between the feed line pigtail and the phasing line down to the relay box let water in. I just can't figure out how.
That's a killer.
Yeah, but
That's a killer.
you do the same thing. You do the same thing and it works, and then you do the same thing and it doesn't work. And I haven't figured out how that can happen. I have decided that I must be skimping on the overlap. So I'm using more tape and more Pookie to seal it up now.
Are they PL259s? Are they regular coax fittings, or are they
Yeah,
is this Heliox, or what is it? PL259?
PL259. Yeah. So I got two pieces of otherwise perfectly good coax that got wet, so they're going in the trash.
Yes.
And there was some arcing at another connection, which looks like it got water in it too. It may be the source of the water at the other connector. So we'll
When
see.
you run 7 kilowatts, that can happen.
No, it really not true. So if you run a full gallon and there's something in there to allow it to conduct a little bit, it will arc.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much power for that.
No.
All right, guys, listen, this has been a lot of fun chatting with you characters. I'm gonna get off of here and do something more reasonable with my time.
Okay.
All right.
Write up some lies and send them to me.
Yeah, sleep fast.
Okay, gentlemen, well, it's been a pleasure.
All right, see you guys.
Thanks.
All right.
73.
See everybody Saturday.
Good, you got to see me.
Good job, Roby and Doug.